Right, okay, so Vince Povey at Blakehill. We've just come around the bend in the perimeter track. We're at waypoint number 7, which is to feature an extent peri-track light. If you stand with your back to a distant wind turbine, which is on the horizon, in front of you will be on just to our immediate middle ground here is part of the old bomb dump, which again was never used to store bombs. But you will see a marker pole in front of you. Now, beneath this marker pole is one of the quite rare remaining perimeter track lights, and the reason it's covered up is because of its rarity. Blakehill Farm attracted at its closure a lot of metal theft, and many of the extensive ground metal remains were dug up, they were removed, they were destroyed, they were sold for scrap. There are one of only 3 lights remaining now on the airfield. This is actually one of them, and it's a perimeter track light, which would have been for the pilots of any taxiing aircraft to see where they are on the airfield, which orientation they are on the airfield, and I will uncover it as we speak. So I've got it buried for obvious reasons, because I don't want people to see it. There we are. Right, so the original concrete that I'm moving here is actually part of the old perimeter track itself, so that in itself is historic, and you'll be able to see, I hope, that the airfield light is in reasonable condition. It's got a crack across its top. We think that's just been caused mainly by frost damage. But basically, there were one of these on each side of the perimeter track, about 30 metres between themselves, and it would enable taxiing aircraft to see which side of the airfield they're on. I understand that the blue side was towards the centre of the airfield, and the yellow side, the amber side, was on the outskirts of the airfield, so they could tell exactly which way round the perimeter track they were actually taxiing. Now, what's nice about this is, because of its state, we can actually today look inside it. We can, ignoring the ant's nest, we can actually delve into this and do some proper archaeology. First of all, you can see how heavily made this thing is, made out of cast iron. There was a lot of production went on during the war, and you can see how thick that is. And if we actually reach down into the ground, we can find the original cable that thankfully is now dead, the electrical cable that went to the bulb, which I'm hanging on to. And if we delve even further down into the site, what's really nice is you can pull out the original bulb holder and its surrounding socket, which is quite special. So there would have been a bulb in there, and depending on the orientation of the light itself, would have either had an amber or a blue filter on that. So that's quite special today. That's real archaeology. That's real digging, and quite a rare piece to be found on the airfield. Like I say, there's only 2 others that I know of that are still in existence. So that's quite special. So once we cover this feature back up, we're going to make our way down to the waypoint number 8, which is the end of the bomb dump, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the remains of the incendiary stores that are down there. So we'll have a look at those.